G'day guys, welcome to my Wise V2 video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL's Round 23's recap preview for 2021. Guys, let's get started. So starting off with this first game of that match, we see the Titans going up against the Storm. Now in this game, the Melbourne Storm, they conceded a lot of points in this game, 34 points to 20 in this match, which really worked to themselves. They are a really good team, and what I really considered also too is the Melbourne Storm. They are a really good team. They're just winning every single time they play, and what I really do consider is like how the way they ball playing with this match. But like obviously the Titans, they are a really good team, but they didn't really execute very well, because I know that they are a really good team, but they just can't beat the Melbourne Storm, because they're just a solid team that just basically draws the line there, and basically like boys basically like put themselves together, and credit to Melbourne Storm because they are a really good team and they fought themselves very hard, and they can really like fight like really like bad. But what I mean is this game was absolutely really good by the Melbourne Storm that really got over the line here, and I wasn't expecting a big scoreline in this match, but since the Titans got over the line by only by I'd say 14 points. I meant like Melbourne Storm by 14 points, but the Gold Coast Titans, they just didn't really play that good, but they did play good, but not enough to conceal the win against the Melbourne Storm. But yeah, well done from the Melbourne Storm for making a really good win against the Gold Coast Titans, 34 points to 20 in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Raiders going up against the Manly Sea Eagles. Now in this game, 19 points to 18 their scoreline was, and it was pretty much a top game, because obviously like the Manly Sea Eagles are a really good team. They are being like, they have been in really good form at the moment, and they obviously are, because the way how they're playing every single time they play, they're just a really good team. And what I do think about this match is the Raiders, they're just on top of their like form at the moment, like also too, but not with like the Manly Sea Eagles, because if you're going up against the Manly Sea Eagles, they just are a really good team at the moment, and I know they are. And obviously like when you go up against like a real good form of a team, you'll know that it will be very hard to make that decision of a really good win. But at the moment though, what I did think about this match was really tight, really hard to think about like if the Raiders were going to win or if the Manly Sea Eagles were going to win. But the Manly Sea Eagles only won by 1 point of that field goal from Daly Cherry Evans kicking that field goal to make it 19 points to 18 for that scoreline anyway. But this match was just absolutely crucial, and I thought to myself where the Raiders were going to win, but they didn't. And pretty much so I thought to myself, this game was just absolutely excellent, and the Manly Sea Eagles are a really good form of a team to just make a really jolly good win. But then what I do consider about this game is like how the way they play with their form and speed. But anyway, well done from the Manly Sea Eagles for making a really good win against the Raiders anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Panthers going up against the Rabbitohs. Now in this game, the Panthers, they are a really good team, and also the Rabbitohs, because how the way they played it with their form was just absolutely excellent. The Rabbitohs, like the first half, they were absolutely really on top of their form. Like they were scoring like 2 tries in that game, and I just had a gut feeling about this match that if the Rabbitohs were going to win, I thought they would. because this match would have been a very crucial tight game. And what I do consider about this match is like how the way they play with their form and spark and speed. But then with the players and how the way their form were, I just thought in this game that it was going to be a pretty much hard game. But then in the second half, well, basically in the first half, the Panthers, they didn't play good. But then in the second half, they came out firing and obviously scoring more tries, kicking a field goal also too from Nathan Cleary to make it 25 points to 12 in that game. I just didn't think that in this match the Panthers were going to win. But since they had Nathan Cleary back into that form, and then with Jerome Luai and Apasai Carousel, things really went to Panthers' way. And what I did consider about this match was I didn't think it was going to be a high-scoring game, but since it made it to a really good of a win, and at least like the Panthers won in this match because I did tip the Panthers. They were playing really top professional football, and obviously like with Nathan Cleary back, without him there's no Panthers, and there's no like team to really get a win. So yeah, well done from the Panthers for making a really good win against the Rabbitohs in that match. The next game of that match, we see the West Tigers going up against the Sharks. Now in this game, the West Tigers, they were playing really good football, but at the moment though, like what I said, first half they were playing really good, but in the second half the Sharks were all over them. 50 points to 20 in that game. And I did tip the Sharks in this game because obviously the Sharks, they were going to improve, but obviously like without no like Sean Johnson and Chad Townsend, because obviously I keep saying Chad Townsend because he used to play for the Sharks, but in this game, what I do think about this match is like the Sharks, they are a really good team, and basically they are because obviously like with Matt Moylan coming back in that side due to an injury, which I don't know what the type of injury is, like the specification of that injury would have been. But then in that game, I just didn't think that the Sharks were going to put like so much points on against the West Tigers. But then the first half, the West Tigers, they were playing absolutely great football. But then in the second half, they were playing absolutely soft, scrappy and terrible. But then the Sharks, they were all over them, and they were just absolutely flogging the West Tigers in this game. 50 points to 20. I wasn't expecting a scoreline at all. But then with the West Tigers playing terrible football in the second half, absolutely the Sharks were just killing it, and they were. But then I don't know what else to say because the Sharks were just all over them. But yeah, well done from the Sharks for making a really good win against the West Tigers, 50 points to 20. The next game of that match, we see the Bulldogs going up against the Knights. Now, as I said before about the Bulldogs, they aren't really good of a team, but I know they can put some points on, but they can't win at the moment. And they just can't. And every single time they play against like the Storm, the West Tigers, the Eels, the Rabbitohs, they put some points on, but they can't win a game. And I know that they are really good of a team. I'm not saying they aren't like good of a team. They're just not there with players going out, and obviously like with so much potential, can't really like say that the Bulldogs are really good of a team because they are sitting on 16th position and they're just not really playing great football at the moment. So the Newcastle Knights, I'm glad that the Newcastle Knights won in this game, and it was pretty close. 22 points to 16 was a pretty close game, and I thought the Knights were going to put some big points on against the Bulldogs. But then when the Bulldogs came out on top of their form, when they played against like this team, I just had to think that if this game was going to go as planned, I did think the Knights were going to win in this game. But not when like the Bulldogs were going to put 3 tries on against the Knights. Then I thought, now is the time to think that the Bulldogs were going to win. But obviously they didn't. So yeah, well done from the Knights for making a really good win against the Bulldogs in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Eels going up against the Cowboys. Now, obviously in this game, what I did consider about this match is the Eels, finally they got on top of their form. And they were working themselves up, absolutely put some points on against the Cowboys. And obviously, like, Entertain House would have been so happy that he would have been pleased about the Eels winning in this game. 32 points to 16 in that match. And obviously in this game, I didn't think that the Eels were going to put some points on against the Cowboys. I would have thought the Cowboys were going to win against the Eels. But then, how the way they played their form, they were working themselves up, absolutely played great football, and I don't know what to say. Like, this game would have been really potential good of a win, and it obviously was. And I wasn't expecting this scoreline to happen anyway. But when like this match had that potential, I would have thought in this game would have been really, really nice to see the Eels play, and they obviously did. And I would have been like so surprised that if the Cowboys would have won that game, I just would have said the Eels are gonskis for good. And just so, I would have think that if this game had to go as planned, I just thought like the Eels were gonna make a really good win. But luckily they did. But unfortunately though, Maiko Sivo has done his ACL, so that means he is going to be out for the remainder of the season and for the remainder of 2022 anyway. So yeah, that's a sad loss for Maiko Sivo, unfortunately. But yeah, well done from the Parramatta Eels for making a really good win against the Cowboys. 32 points to 16 in that match. The next game of that match, we see the Dragons going up against the Roosters. Now in this match, 40 points to 22 in that game. I would have thought in this game that the Dragons were obviously going to win. But then how the way they played with their potential, and obviously like how the way they would have played like in this game, I would have thought from my perspective that the Roosters weren't going to win, but then the Dragons were. And how the way the Dragons played good football, they did, yes, with a couple of tries were absolutely excellent, but then the Roosters, they were coming out on top of their form and playing with great potential win. And Daniel Tupou was playing absolutely excellent in that game. And usually Daniel Tupou doesn't really play a good game. But then when he scored like 4 or 3 tries in that game, it was absolutely excellent. And that's how the Roosters are, with Sam Walker playing great football. But then, obviously, in this match, what I do consider about this game is, like, how the way that the Roosters are. But then, like, with how the way they put some points on against the Dragons, I would have thought it would have been, like, something else different. But, yeah, luckily they won against, luckily the Roosters won against the Dragons, because anything else would have been pretty pretty much terrible. But yeah, well done from the Roosters for making a really good win against the Dragons in that match. And finally, the next game of that match, we see the Broncos going up against the Warriors. Now, in that game, the Broncos were just absolutely, like, really good in that game. And obviously in this match, like, 24-22, it's just absolutely, like, shocking though, because it would have been close that the Warriors would have got over the line and obviously won that game. But then, how the way the Warriors played, they played really good football. And obviously, like, with Chad Townsend and Reece Walsh is just absolutely, like, a really good player. And he's not usually good, but I would have thought in this game that this match would have been absolutely excellent. But then a close game is just going to that wire that it would have been really good in that match. But then this game, I just have a gut feeling that in this match it would have been that good, because obviously in this match it's how the way the Broncos are at the moment. But then the Broncos aren't that good, but also the Warriors aren't that good either. But then how the way they want to play their football is just average, and the Warriors are too. So obviously in this game, it wasn't great football. It was just alright, but yeah, this game wasn't really a talented game. And yeah, well done from the Broncos for making a really good win against the Warriors, 24-22 in that game. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. We'll be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 300 subscribers. We're sitting on 216 anyway. So let's go up to that. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.